Where has all the time gone? It's been over 4 years since my last video, but I'm not here to talk about time. Today I'm going to talk a bit about technique and also the amazing power of shallow strokes that will help you to improve your tennis game without hitting a single real tennis ball. I'm also going to show you a practice that Roger Federer used to help him break a barren run without a Grand Slam, and I'm going to show you a really messed up racket. Right, I shall see you outside. January 2021, London. We've just gone into our third national lockdown. Courts are closed again, but you can do shallow strokes from anywhere. You can do them in your own house, or you can get out here like I've done today. Look, I've found this lovely car park. Anyway, you've got to do a warm-up before your shallow strokes. It's always a good idea. Something dynamic. Save all the stretching until after you've finished all your exercise for the day and the cool down. The beauty of shallow strokes is that you can repeat great technique over and over, so that when you're in the pressure of a match, it won't let you down. But you've got to make sure of the quality, and there are 3 ways to do that. So don't just work on your forehand. Try something like working on attacking those slow, easy balls with your forehand. You know the ones I mean, the ones that are sitting there begging to be hit, but with enough time for that little voice in your head to convince you that you're going to miss. You know the ones. To be really effective, you've got to live the situation. So with this type of ball, you're going to visualize the ball every time. You're going to see it in your mind. You're going to set up that semi-open stance. You're going to make lots of space for the shot, and then you're going to really explode that kinetic chain into the shot and keep your eye on that ball that you're visualizing. You should check some pro examples too. Here's Riley Opelka crushing this type of ball. Practice loads of those with great quality, and then soon, when you get that type of ball in a match, that little voice in your head has got no chance. Your technique is going to be so honed that you're going to eat that ball up every time. Isolating part of the swing is the second great way to make shallow strokes really work for you. Let's take an example. Let's say that you have an issue where you lead with your arms on your backhand preparation with the double hander instead of using your body. So you can just work on that preparation for the backhand on its own. So from here you're just going to turn your body instead of using your arms. Get that shoulder turn at the end as well to complete it, and then all you're doing is practicing that preparation for the backhand and getting it right. Djokovic makes a great visual for the double-handed backhand. And you can also slow it down just like a slow-mo. If you're struggling with something, then slowing it down is a great way to really feel it and get it right. So if you're taking the backhand preparation example, and you're just going to really slow it down from ready position, you're going to feel that body turn here, you're going to get your foot in position, and you're going to feel that extra shoulder turn at the back. And you're just going to do it at a slower pace, getting it right until you feel that you're more comfortable. Once you feel you can do it well, then you can build it up to normal speed. And when you're comfortable building up to normal speed, then you can put it into the whole of the backhand swing. If you drive your backhand with one hand, like I do, then you have to get more body coiling in that preparation, but that can make you late on the ball. But if you don't get that body coiling, then your one-handed backhand isn't going to reach its full potential. So something you can work on with the shallow strokes for the one-handers is your speed from the split step to the end of the preparation on the backhand. And then when you've done that a few times, you can put it all together. Now, due to forgetfulness, I forgot to mention out there that Roger Federer actually used this exact practice to help develop a more aggressive backhand return. This is something he wanted to do as part of, back in 2016, as part of an all-round goal to try and be more aggressive, to take the ball earlier, and also prolong his career in the process. So he used this exact practice to get quicker at reacting on the return of serve, to have options to drive over it more often than he usually does. And it worked pretty well, because he got out there and came back in January 2017 and won his first Grand Slam for over 4 years. And he won another Grand Slam that year at Wimbledon, and he won the Australian Open again in 2018. And hopefully more Grand Slams, Roger. Come on, Roger! And with shadow strokes, it doesn't matter what racket you use. So why not dust off that old wooden racket that your great-great-granddad used to play with in 1748? Or why don't you dig out that racket you smashed up after you lost that match from 9-love up in the match tiebreak? Look at this thing. I mean, how does that even happen? Crazy. Anyway, you don't even need a racket at all. You can just do these shadow strokes with your bare hands. You're mostly going to be working on body mechanics and timing of your body mechanics, and so for that you really don't need to have anything in your hand at all. So if you're at home with not a lot of space, then no excuse not to crack on and work on some shadow strokes. Right, I'm going to get out of here now. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning and finish the filming, but thanks to something called editing, you've only got to wait for 1 second. Keep your jacket on today, mate. I mean, I know you've got this whole optimism thing going on, and you know, that's great, but it's just not shorts and t-shirt weather right now. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's all right, it's fine. I mean, it's first thing in the morning. Next half hour, the temperature's going to creep up a little bit. It'll be fine. So I forgot to say yesterday, you need to check the surface you're on, make sure it's safe. Talk about safe a lot these days. Well, you need to make sure the surface that you're going to do your shadow strokes on is safe, because you don't want to find out afterwards when you're doing your high intensity footwork that it wasn't safe. And if you're indoors especially, make sure that there is enough room up there to do your serve shadows. This surface is not safe. Alright, let's move on to volleys then. So remember, your shoulder is the engine room for your volley, and forehand volleys, small turn, and then you're going to power this arm and racket forwards from the shoulder. So it's here, here. Backhand volley, slightly more turn when you've got time, and then front shoulder to power the arm and racket forward again. So we're going here, here. Really important with the volleys that you visualize that tennis ball, and especially look to make contact with it nicely out in front of you. And of course we can do the old serves, but it's very easy to do rubbish shadow serves. So really make sure that you've got the technical aspects looked after. You'll probably need to maybe break it down, isolate a few things, and of course slow things down. Slow down the whole swing at first, or slow down parts of the swing until you really feel it and get it right. And when you feel it's all coming together, then make sure that you are throwing that imaginary ball, but visualizing it, keeping that hand up there and looking up to that ball as though it was actually there. That will really promote good body mechanics. And then it's all about that wonderful 1-2 rhythm. Part 1, smooth and deliberate. Part 2, explosive and full of energy. Yes, Dan! And of course, as it's a serve, could use the ball, depending on your environment. You could actually set some lines out if you've got enough space, like this.
So you can serve red to red or blue to blue, and as long as that ball is landing just inside the second line, you know that you're hitting great serves, and also that they're definitely going to be clearing the net.
Or you could just have a go at hitting it anyway. Just don't make the mistake I just made. I temporarily forgot that I don't have a dog. I'm going to have to go and get that now. Alright, so just to wrap up the shadow strokes then, you can, with a bit of creativity, you can work on whatever you want with these shadow strokes. You can work on the run forehands, drop shots, you can work on your top spin, your backhand slice, of course, any of the things we've done already. And once you've got that quality, then it's all about repetition. Look up something called myelin. Myelin builds up along the neural pathways when you repeat a physical action many times. The more you repeat that action, the more myelin builds up, and the better your brain then becomes at becoming faster and more accurate at performing that action. So whichever action you're repeating, your brain will be able to respond quicker and more accurately to perform that action, which obviously as a tennis player will be great to have. Gotta love that myelin. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I just can't be bothered to do this. But you're wrong. All the people who have already switched off already and got bored, they're the ones who can't be bothered to do it, but you're still watching. So I know that you've got what it takes to get this stuff done and make things happen. So get out there and do it, yeah? And finally, to those of you who are still watching, and indeed all of you who aren't watching anymore, remember, tennis is fun, life is still beautiful, stay positive and keep smiling.